Let's get right to our panel now. Joining us is my colleague Torre, host of The Cycle, and Joan Walsh, who's editor-at-large for Salon.com and also the author of What's the Matter with White People, a magnificently titled book.
Yes.
Torre, here we are. A third man is on the loose, according to Glenn Beck. He's Saudi, he's Muslim, and according to Glenn Beck, the White House is involved in hiding his identity. Why haven't the FBI and the CIA issued an all-points bulletin for the man?
Well, this man also kidnapped the Lindbergh baby and killed O.J.'s wife. It's
perfectly possible that those charges could be added to an indictment.
Extraordinarily busy. And, of course, we should take these claims by Glenn Beck extraordinarily seriously.
We are.
Because everything that he says is correct and never lunacy, because Obama hatred does not cloud the brain and make you have bizarre thoughts that have nothing to do with reality. What is he talking about? But also, there's this desire I see here of using Islamophobia to explain everything, right? We have this confusing world that we're afraid of. We have enemies coming at us. Many of them are homegrown, right? Many of them are like Adam Lanza. They don't have any ideology at all, right? And then some of them come from other parts of the world. But if we cannot use Islamophobia to explain all of them, then it would be too confusing and too chaotic. Okay, so we have to put everything into that lens.
Okay, that's too factual a response. Joan, I want you to listen to Mr. Beck, because he says he's actually in possession of documentary evidence. Take a listen to this. Here it comes.
Then suddenly, after the president meets with the Saudis and then John Kerry meets with the Saudis, all of a sudden, he's not a person of interest, and somebody goes in and tries to delete this file. They try to get rid of all of the evidence. After the Blaze reports it, they try to get rid of all of it.
There you are, Joan. They tried to get rid of the evidence.
They got rid of the evidence because they had put him on the watch list because they were interrogating him. They actually did what they were supposed to do. They were concerned about this Saudi kid. And then when they discovered that he had nothing to do with the plot, he was a victim running away because that's what a sane person would do, they took him off the watch list. And so the system worked, and Glenn Beck is still spewing this. And you know what's really interesting? Fox itself, I believe it was Bret Baier, debunked this.
Well, you, as always, have anticipated me, because there is a slight problem. Mr. Bret Baier of the same Fox News channel looked into that document. There he is, and he's waving the piece of paper, and he calls it, in his words, false and misleading. So is it possible that the third man may be a figment of their imagination? Is that possible?
The third, yes, and the third man, they make the third man exist because they have spent so much time demonizing this president, insinuating that he either has some Muslim ties and beliefs, or else he's too soft, he's too politically correct, that this has to go together. This whole conspiracy theory is the culmination of 5 years of making this man not one of us, the other, and perhaps he does have a funny
And all these sort of
name.
things that we don't have to trust Obama because he's not one of us,
Right.
because he's somebody that we can hate, because he's not that intelligent, he's not really American. If he's lying about his basic identity, then we don't have to trust anything else he ever says. So we can foment this deep distrust of him all the way along the line and use it at any point. And this plays extraordinarily well in these sort of Michael Savage, Mark Levin, these sort of
course, I mean, Glenn Beck was invited onto O'Reilly. But, Joan, here's the problem with all of this. According to Glenn Beck, there are 6 members of Congress who are going to open an investigation into this conspiracy theory about a third man.
I believe that. I believe that. I'm sure we have 6 members of Congress crazy enough. I mean, Louis Gohmert's got to be on the list, you know.
Yeah.
We have 6 members of Congress
Ron
who
Johnson.
believe it. But, you know, the thing about O'Reilly that's so cynical, I mean, Roger Ailes had the good sense to get rid of Glenn Beck, to realize Glenn Beck was becoming a terrible embarrassment to Fox. And O'Reilly brings him back because, I don't know, he's having an issue with his ratings, and he's got to gin up the Islamophobia and now give Glenn Beck another Fox platform to spew this stuff. I mean, it's just so cynical.
There's voters at home who will buy it. So there are senators who will push it.
Of course. Torre and Joan Walsh, thank you so much for joining us.